Yes, can you talk about Buchholz in the third inning, sir?
Well, the inning got away from him. Bottom line, we score 4 to give obviously a sizable lead. The leadoff walk, as you look back now, kind of set the tone for the inning. I thought he threw a number of quality pitches leading up to the third, but an offensive night on both sides. And even after Clay, we'd score and couldn't put up a 0 to really maintain any momentum. Not a good night from the mound.
Do you have any answers, sir?
Well, it's been every other start. You know, there's been quality stuff in between, outings where they've been less than, such as tonight. We've been victimized by the big inning, and we've got to find a way to minimize the damage inside those situations.
John, I was going to ask, is there a common denominator on those big innings, the two that Miley's had, a couple with Buchholz? Is there anything that is a common thread running through them?
No, because tonight was a matter of base hits. You know, the leadoff walk was one. You know, you think back to the other day, there were other walks mixed into the big inning, but by and large, it's a matter of going out and continue to execute. And there's got to be an ability to slow some hitters down, knowing that after you score, there's probably a ramped up intensity by the opposition to try to answer back. That doesn't mean you pitch scared. That means you have to continue to be relentless from the mound, and we've been inconsistent with that.
And in 2 of the last 3 days where you've had poor starts, the bullpen hasn't seemed to be able to stop the bleeding. You scored 7 runs Sunday, 8 runs tonight. Most times that's enough. Both times that was more than the starter allowed. Is that just overwork on the part of the bullpen, given all the innings they've had to log, or is that performance as well? You
know, in those situations, you score a bunch of runs after you're down a little bit. So many times the starter sets the tone, and whether that's pitching in, pitching off the plate, trying to keep guys from rushing out to one spot in the strike zone, a starter is going to give the guy coming in behind him some room to maneuver, and that hasn't been the case.
John, Mujica 2 balks in the same inning. Lack of concentration, or what is that?
Yeah, it's something you don't see often, and a rarity. But every attempt is being made to control the running game, and yet you give up 90 feet by starting a delivery before he comes set. A guy who's probably not done that in his career, and we've got to be better.
John, how debilitating is it to the entire team to give up that many runs over 3 days, and the hitters seem like they're always having to come from behind, and the bullpens being used like this?
You know, Pete, in our dugout, regardless of the score, there's always a thought, and even tonight, we feel like we can come back. We did come back. We answered. Felt like we still had an opportunity to win this game, even though you're down 3-4 runs in the middle innings. We've got to find a way to gain some consistency, and more importantly, maintain the momentum with a shutdown inning.
You guys talked a lot in spring training about wanting to get off to a good start after last year. Do you feel like you've wasted some of the offense that you've been able to generate so far?
I wouldn't say wasted. I think this is a team that's offensive capable every single night. We can't go back in time. We've got to continue to put a game plan together and go out and execute.
Yeah, John, if you look at Buchholz's career stats, there's a pretty clear line of demarcation before his injury in 2013 and since the injury. Why do you think he hasn't been able to regain the form he showed before that injury?
There have been games in which he has. To sustain it, I can't say it's because of lack of recovery time. It's not a different approach to the 5 days or the 4 work days in between starts. You pay close attention to the physical and mental routines that are being followed, and those have been consistent. It's a matter of, to me, understanding and reading swings inside a given game and adjust accordingly.
Oh, nice to see Pablo kind of carry over what he did the last 2 games, especially to put together a good at-bat right-handed also.
Yeah, good to see him get the base hit right-handed, obviously. He's been grinding a little bit from that side of the plate, but he's in a good place, obviously, offensively. I think we talked about it yesterday. He's got a chance to capitalize on some highs, and he's doing that right now in a very good streak right now. Hanley, obviously, with a big night as well. And when you've got those guys in the middle of the order, that's why you have the feeling that you can come back from a deficit regardless of the inning.